Welcome to Bizworld. I'm Nurin Razmyn. Sarawak has urged the Tourism, Arts and Culture Ministry, Motac, to reconsider its decision to halt the operations of agents for the Malaysia My Second Home MM2H program. Its Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts Minister, Datuk Seri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, said this decision will affect the tourism sector, particularly in Sabah and Sarawak. The minister added that these two states have slightly different conditions for MM2H, such as on the fixed deposit amount. He said discussions with the federal government on this issue will be held, considering that both states have autonomy rights to manage tourism matters. It is learnt that Motac has issued a circular dated May 27, 2024 to all licensed agents handling MM2H applications, including in Sabah and Sarawak, to ease their operations. Investors are more upbeat about 5G as monetization opportunities emerged from selling managed solutions to enterprise clients that leverage 5G technology. According to Kenanga research, as the adoption of generative artificial intelligence, Gen AI, gains momentum across enterprises, this could emerge as a future earnings growth driver via cloud offerings with integrated Gen AI tools. It added that the looming announcement of the official 5G Dual Network Policy Directive will finally resolve the uncertainty that has dragged down sentiment on the sector. Meanwhile, the research house also said the sector's earnings delivery in the first quarter of the year's reporting season was in line with expectations. The private healthcare sector is expected to report stronger numbers in the second half of this year. According to RHB research, this positive outlook is driven by organic expansion strategies and visa-free entry for tourists and from China and India. It said the sector's growth is attributed due to a rise in non-communicable diseases, increased health awareness, and an aging population. The firm predicts that global healthcare mergers and acquisitions will accelerate this year due to financial and operational challenges from rising costs and workforce shortages. Meanwhile, it added that the pharmaceutical segment is recovering, driven by growth in consumer healthcare and over-the-counter products, increased hospital activities, and a rise in foreign tourist arrivals. However, key downside risks to this positive outlook include higher than expected operating costs, lower than expected patient visits, and revenue growth. The April uptick in total loan applications for property purchases, which rose to 52.9 billion ringgit, signals a stronger demand for properties. According to MIDF research, the higher loan application is in line with the firm's expectation on the back of an improving outlook for the property sector and the status quo of overnight policy rate OPR at 3%. It said approved loans for property purchases returned to a 15.2% year-on-year growth in April, driven mainly by higher loan applications. Overall, earnings growth in the first quarter for property companies was positive, driven by higher recognitions from property projects. The firm added that the labour shortage issue was also resolved, while improving new property sales has supported earnings growth. Meanwhile, a few property companies ventured into the data center industry recently to ride on the growing demand for data centers in Malaysia. China's exports growth accelerated markedly in May despite escalating trade tensions. Exports posted an annual growth of 7.6%, following a 1.5% rise in April, while shipments were forecast to grow 6%. Growth in imports, meanwhile, decelerated to 1.8% from 8.4% in the previous month. Despite the slowdown, the annual growth far exceeded forecasts of 4.2%. Consequently, the trade surplus increased significantly to $82 billion. The latest Purchasing Managers Survey results showed that new orders from foreign markets increased in May, signaling the fastest growth in nearly 2 years. Bursa Malaysia continues to trend higher due to buying mainly on commodity-related stocks. At 5 p.m., the FBM KLCI gained 3.13 points to end at 1,617.86. Gainers led losers by 818 to 395, while 472 counters were traded unchanged. Rakuten Trade Research anticipates the momentum will drive the index towards the next resistant level of 1,620 points. The firm expects the index to hover within the 1,610 to 1,630 range next week. And that's all the time we have for Bizworld. I'm Nurin Razmyn. Keep tuning into TV3.